श्यामं विपश्यतः नाद्वैतं दृश्यते आसाम् तासां किं योगसेवनम् अजातपक्षा इव मातरं खगा स्तन्यं यथा वत्सतरा क्षुधाता प्रियं प्रियेवाव्युषितं विषण्णम् मनोरविन्दाक्षदिदृक्षति नमः कमलनाभाय नमः कमलमालिनी नमः कमलपादाय नमस्ते कमले क्षणम् The Divine Souls, we learn up till now regarding the form of God that God is a creator, absolute, omnipresent and all-powerful. One aspect of God. Then we learn God is divine. Then we learn that God is divine love or divine bliss. These are general features or characteristics or qualities of God or of the divine. They do not reveal any such fact that could be conceived. They are virtues. This form of God was revealed by many religions, many saints, which introduced God consciousness in the world. For those souls who were good souls and were desiring to know God something. A bad soul, a bad person has to become good person. He has to follow rules of ethics, social rules, generosity. Some show this path also exclusively. When he has become a good person, then he has to rise up, enter into God consciousness and feel, oh, God is a supreme creator, He is supreme love, I must find God. And he has to surrender to that form of God internally and has to cry, oh God, please help me come to you. This is called God consciousness. Up to this point, some religions take you. Then you have to go further ahead. When you have come to this point, just like suppose you are living in some place, you begin to dislike that place. You don't like it. You want to run away. You want to run away. One stage. First stage, you don't like it. Then you want to run away from there. Second stage. Third stage, where to go? Where to go? So, first stage of disliking means this world is good, but no good. It's not absolutely good. I mean, it's just good to carry on your life in hope. But again, it cannot give you complete happiness, satisfaction, or love. So you don't like it very much. First stage. Second stage, you want to reach some place where you can have perfect love. That is God consciousness. That is only God, God's realm. Then, where, how to reach God, how to find God, what is God, the third stage means beyond God consciousness. And from here, you have to learn the actual form of God. So, the theory of God's form starts from here. And I explain that God, although He has all those virtues, and all the virtues have a form because He has a mind. You see, in the world, you have a mind, yes, you have a form, you have a body, although it's material. Any energy has any mind, electricity. Say, for instance, you are an electrician, a scientist, you developed or generated 1000 watt voltage electricity in your own house. You made the machinery, fine. If by mistake you touch and all the voltage goes into your body, you will be dead instantly, you will be electrocuted. Because the machine does not know that you are his master. Machine is machine. It's dead, lifeless, mindless. So, a lifeless, mindless thing cannot have any compassion or kindness. But God is kind. God has compassion. So, God has a form. This material power, again I explain further ahead, that this material power is originally absolute formless state. Originally, material power is absolute formless, which is like absolute nothingness, existence. And from that formless state, it evolves into many forms. So the originality is absolute formless state, this cosmic energy. But God, He is just the reverse. He is absolutely formful. Many forms it has. He has absolute form. You don't have absolute form, you have a limited, spot existent form. He has absolute form. So absolute form means which contains all the absolute qualities. So absolute formless, Maya, material power, and absolute for God, just the reverse. Because He has absolute form, so His kindness absolute. His presence absolute. Absolute presence means omnipresence. His understanding absolute. He knows every moment's thoughts and actions of every soul, although they are unlimited souls of from unlimited lifetimes. He knows that big mind he has. His beauty, absolute. His kindness, absolute. His grace, absolute. His love, absolute. He has everything absolute. So, absolute love, absolute kindness, absolute grace, absolute almightiness, this we can imagine. But absolute form is beyond your imagination. You cannot imagine absolute form that form could be omnipresent. But you can still trust, believe. You can have faith. So he has absolute form and Maya has absolute no form, absolute formless. So in his absolute form, he has many powers. Tas Shaktistu Nigadha, uncountable powers he has. They could be graded into two kinds, Almighty class and Divine Love class. In Almighty class, I explained yesterday, Durga, Shiva, Kali, Vishnu, Shankar, Ganesh, these forms are Almighty forms. And they always carry some instrument, some weapon, something. They are Almighty forms. Then there are some divine love forms. I explained Bhagavan Ram, Dwarkadhish, Krishna, Radha-Krishn. These are four main divine love forms. But all of these forms are omnipresent. All of these forms. And they are all together, not separate. It's also beyond understanding. It's just for developing your faith. One more form of God which Jnanis say that God has a formless form. Just like Veda said, Murtam Chaiva Murtam Cha Daiva Brahmane Rupe. Shankaracharya said, Murtam Chaiva Murtam Cha Dvai Eva Brahmane Rupe. A similar verse. God has absolute form and God also has a formless form. Actually, he doesn't have a formless form. He cannot have two separate entities. If there is two, then not unlimited, not absolute. Absolute thing only could be one. Ultimate, absolute. This will go only for one thing. Only one. Unlimited. So unlimited, absolute, supreme power could only be one. It cannot be two. So how could be two gods? One form and one no form. It's not possible. He is always absolute form he has. Always he has absolute form, just one kind of God. Absolute form is absolute divine form. So absolute divine form he has. But it has many kinds, absolute divine forms. And I explained Almighty, absolute divine forms, and divine love, absolute divine forms. Two categories. Some Jnanis and yogis, they do not experience because that form also has Almighty means absolute knowledge. So, a part of absolute knowledge, saints have called absolute light, It's like Jyotir Gamay, from this darkness enter into divine light. So, certain saints do not experience the form of God, they just experience the radiance of that form. Just the radiance, the glow, the light of that form they experience. And say, oh, God has no form. But God has form because the radiance has come from the form of God. The radiance. It's like you see sunlight, but you cannot see sun unless you go out of your room and see in the open. But sunlight has no form. It's coming from somewhere. So radiance is not on its own. It comes from somewhere, from some form. So saints have said that their radiance is established in God Himself according to Gita, Brahmanomi Pratisthayam. Or, oh Krishna, the radiance of your divine personality, Gyanis call it formless form of God. But it is their experience. It's not the absolute reality. Absolute reality is He has an absolute form. This is the reason that when they see the form of actual absolute form of God, they fall for that. Janak, he was absorbed in absolute radiance of Bhagavan Ram. When Bhagavan Ram came in front, he forgot his past experience and was involved, emotionally involved. Oh, Ram, you appear like Brahma. You are Brahma. You are my Brahma in absolute personal form. Shukdev, he was completely engrossed in the radiance of absolute divine love of Krishna. As soon as he heard about Krishna, oh Krishna, he forgot his absolute transcendence and began to think of Krishna, love Radhe, and since then onward, he never went back to his absolute transcendence. So this is the reason when those jnanis and yogis, they happen to see the absolute form, they forget their past experience and love the personal form. Second reason, no jnani can become a divine jnani. Jnani means who follows the path of jnana or yoga. And a jnani saint, the jnani who has become a saint. So a jnani cannot become a jnani saint unless he surrenders to a personal form of God. Because with His grace, he can become a jnani saint. Are there some more process? He can surrender to a saint, a real saint. Might be a jnani saint, any saint. With His grace, he can become jnani saint. Because saint represents God on this earth planet. Any kind of saint. He represents his kind of God. A saint represents his kind of God on this earth planet. So, if there is a jnani saint and a devotee surrenders to that jnani saint completely and does all those practices, purifies his heart, so with the grace of saint, he can also become a jnani saint. But his master contains in his heart the divineness which was achieved through surrender to a personal form of God. There is no way, so Gita says, Mame uye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Eva, only one way to receive liberation. He has to come to me. If he asks, I grant him liberation. There is one more path mentioned in the Vedas. There are some very stubborn followers of Gyan and Yoga, very stubborn. There are some people, they don't want to understand. They want to follow their own willfulness. So, Bhagavatam says, Aruhya krichena param padam tada. They go up and fall down, go up and fall down. In rising and falling, rising and falling. Suppose there are 1 million people trying in one galaxy to become jnanis, and they are rising and falling and rising and falling, rising and falling. So some of them don't fall very much, so they rise further. Where do they go? Again Bhagavatam says, Mahar Janah Tapa Satyam. There are 4 lokas, Maharlok, Taplok, Janlok, Satyalok. They rise up to that level and fall down, again rise slightly higher, again come down, again rise slightly higher, again come down. So very few are left out of those million. Those who are left, if they rise up to the 7th abode of Brahma, Satyalok, the final limit of this material expansion. Brahma is a divine personality. He is not a soul and he is not God, just a divine personality. So if they surrender to Brahma completely wholeheartedly, the same rule applies. With the grace of Brahma, they could receive liberation. They could. Because Brahma is a divine personality. And how he has become divine personality? By surrendering to some form of God when he was a soul. So by surrendering to personal form of God, with that God's grace, he had become a saint, and then who could become Brahma? Because he was ambitious to become Brahma. So same rule applies everywhere. And if that jnani doesn't fully surrender to Brahma in Brahma's abode,